Welcome to another episode of APSU's Institute of Public Humanities, Humanscape of Clarksville. I'm Darren Michael. Today I'm joined with Dr. Ellen Kanervo. After 30 years of teaching at APSU, she retired in 2008. During those years, she headed the Department of Communication and Theater for 4 years. She was a board member for Clarksville Montgomery County Arts and Heritage Development Council for 5 years before being promoted to executive director. Are there any other elements of your resume I need to that I'm leaving out? That's a long, storied career.
I think you've got me.
Well, thank you so much for joining us today. I've got a couple of questions, but we can have a little conversation about whatever you'd like. But one of the things I'd ask is, as someone who's been here a little while at APSU, but tell me if you have any words of advice after that career. What's changed? What's remained the same? Any words of advice for me or for any other folks joining us here?
What I can tell you is that life is good after retirement.
It's good.
I was able to have a second job that I love. I say I've got the best job in Clarksville.
Oh, good. And
I had actually one of the best jobs in Clarksville for 30 years at Austin Peay.
Oh.
So life is good.
That's fantastic. Good. My question to you would be, this thing we're talking about, how the humanities have affected your life, our lives, and why is it important for each of us, right? It's a little different for everyone. What does the word mean to you? If someone said the word humanities to you, what does that mean to you?
Well, my initial thought is it's disciplines like history and English literature. I think in an earlier conversation, you and I expanded it to arts and to maybe even to sociology, or at least parts of it. It's things that deal with humans. And I have been, in my job, which is arts and heritage, I have been always pleased at how the two work together. We just dedicated a mural that we're calling The Last Train to Clarksville on Commerce Street. And it's a mural of a train, and it was the last passenger train to Clarksville, which was on August 31st, 1968. And it brings together music, it makes you think of the Song of the Monkeys, history, we know about the train, and art, we've got the mural. And so the way things work together is always nice for me.
That's fantastic. Was there, how did that, tell us some more about the mural then. How did it come about? What was the idea behind it? Was it?
Well, if you've ridden down Commerce Street by Cat's on Commerce, the old foundry, there is a pillar that upheld the railroad, and it was pretty run down and not very attractive. And one of our board members, David Smith, kept looking at it and kept thinking that it needed a mural and it ought to be connected to railroading. And so he went to a tattoo artist, Ricky Cavaness, and asked him if he would be interested in putting up a mural. And so Ricky went from his tiny tattoo artistry to this huge train on a pillar where you had to climb up scaffolding and so forth to do it. But it really, I think it's very nice, and I hope people will like it and have their pictures made and post it on social media.
Yes, go see it, take pictures. Yeah, that's very cool. I like that. Yes, I like it a lot. Other things, Art and Heritage Council, I know you mentioned a little bit about your involvement there over the years. Was it, after retirement is when you really got heavily involved in that?
Yes, I was a board member for, I think you said 5 years. I wasn't. And then at the time, the current executive director decided to move to Philadelphia, and there was an opening, and I discovered I didn't like retirement. I know what happened. I thought I would start cleaning out my house. I'm a pack rat. And I discovered I just couldn't make myself do it, so I needed an excuse not to. And this has been a wonderful excuse.
Fantastic. Still going strong?
Yeah. I mean, we've got lots of plans.
Any particular ones you could talk about?
One that I really am pleased with is we got a grant from the Community Health Foundation to put 5 storybook trails in Montgomery and the 4 surrounding counties. And so if you're not familiar with a storybook trail, it is a book that we put on stands, and people walk a half a mile to a mile and read the book, 2 pages at a time. So it helps with literacy, it helps with health and contact with nature. And what we're doing is we're using books by local authors or local illustrators, so that what we want to tell the children who walk this trail is, you can write a book. There are people in your community who do that. You can illustrate a book. There are people you know who do that. So
that's beautiful.
Pleased.
That's really
Yeah.
beautiful. Thank you so much for joining us today. I think our time's
Okay.
just about up.
I just appreciate being able to tell arts and heritage story.
Excellent. Well, thank you for joining us, Dr. Kanervo. And thank you all for joining us for another episode of Humanscape of Clarksville. I'm Darren Michael.